just looping this bass line right here on this chorus, you got to be able to hear a distinction between no sub and sub, and I had it sounded the same, so there was obviously a problem. You have to listen on the sub, otherwise you got no sub. So what I did is I went here to this EQ right here, and this is what it sounded like previously. I'm just going to put this as a good bass. But this is what it sounded like before. That's the original EQ that I had for the bass DI. Now let's listen to this track. This is the bass amp. That sounds fine. So there was a problem with this. I said fine because I had the brightness that you need to cut through the track on the bass amp. So now on the bass DI, if you listen to them together, and then we'll put this polarity switch here, we'll turn it on and off. This sounds bassier right there. I have my sub on, of course, with the Boston speakers, the computer speakers, as usual. That's how I usually do it. So now, when you listen to that, so that's both of them, and when I put the sub in and out, you don't hear much of a difference. That's out. This with the sub. Without. There's a little bit of a difference, but not much. So what we did is went here to the EQ and changed it to this. Where you have the boost right here. That's this one. And that's 191 frequency, 191 hertz. And the gain, doesn't matter if it's 8.9. It would be different depending on what your file is. If it's a bass DI that has a lot of brightness, then this won't count. It might be lower, it might be down here. Or you could even be so much that you need to bring it down like that. It depends on your file. That's why when people have settings, it doesn't make sense. So, EQ, you just have to know how it works. And what I'm trying to do here is boost the mids, which 191 is pretty much mids. If you're going to low, then you're going down to like 80, which I don't need to go that low. And it doesn't seem to do much as far as cutting through the track. So this is cutting through the track better. Now if I do polarity switch, yeah, so that sounds bassier. So that, and we also have this distortion track. Which sounds a little bit loud. We'll see in the track, but I'm going to consider bringing that down a little bit. I think it might be too much. I don't need too much noise going on here, so.
This is Ludicrous.
Now I'll go here. Just to hear the bass by itself, all three tracks. Sounds pretty good. So even this distorted bass, let's listen to it without it. So if the track sounds too busy, then we can bring that down. That might be a good idea. So let's listen. Sounds fine, so we're going to leave it in. So let's listen to the track. See how the bass and the kick's working. So let's move
Synths,
ahead.
Ludicrous.
Where the drums and bass. Listen, so now we're bouncing back and forth. We're going to go to the kick and then might go to the bass again. Let's fool around with the kick now.
Synths, Ludicrous.
Just go to a chorus. Let's go to this. I'm trying the sub now. I'm seeing how the kick drum is working with the sub and without, because you should hear a little difference, like a fullness come when you push that sub in, when you get the sub kicking. I like to put the kick out of the sub. This is basically the sub on the bottom, and the high on the kick in, the punchy sound hitting the head. So let's listen again. With the sub, without the sub, listen to the kick in. No difference. Now the punchy. No difference. And then this should have a difference, the kick out, because I use that as like a sub. In. Out. Kick. Sub in. Whole song now. Now do the sub in button and sub out. Sub out. Okay. Sub on. More volume. Sub out. Sub on. Okay, so there you have it. On, off, whatever. Alright, so now with the song. So there you go. So then the next test you want to do is just, what the fuck? The next thing you want to do is play one of these, this chorus here. And you want to listen to the kick, all the kicks, and the bass guitar. You want to listen to the kicks and the bass guitar. You want to just loop it, just like we have here. Just loop the chorus, and then put the sub in and sub out, and make sure you can hear a difference. That's without. Now with it. Without. With it. Without. With it. So you can hear the difference. Gives it a fullness. And this is a busy song, so you don't want to overdo this, especially on a fast song. Too much bass is just going to be building up. So leave it a little bit low. You have electric guitars and stuff, so we'll see how the rest of this stuff is going. So let's take a look now then. Let's take these off. We're going to do all the drums, and then let's see if we can take something out, like the guitars. Take those out for now. We have our group for guitars, takes all the guitars out. Just a simpler way to do it. And then vocals. Here's our vocals. Take those out. Let's go to the chorus and just start tweaking things. This is how we set it up, so So we have percussion. Here's all tambourines and claps right here. We have those going to a percussion bus, which should be right underneath it, so let's move that up. That goes right there. So, everything percussion bus. All the claps are going to the percussion bus, which is being sent here. Percussion bus. This is the percussion bus, the main bus, right here. That buses to the submix channel. Submix. Here's our submix right here. We call it this way because that's an important channel. We want to be able to find that quickly. And right now we just have this on it. This one and this one. Doesn't really matter. It just happens to be what we had. We had VTM on here. Right now it's off. We can still put it on. DUI, wide. Limiter. If we want to just check it quickly, we'll have the limiter there. But for now, we don't need that. So, and then it goes to the master, which we don't put anything on. We just leave all the effects off of this. This text right here is just from some other file. So now let's look at the percussion because it seems loud. I was on a grouping. Yeah. For some reason I always have to go into the stupid file and select this. Follow globals. That's a little loud right there. Yeah, that needs to come down. That's just too much. That's going to hurt your ears pretty quickly. So, let's see that. It's a little bit loud, so I think just taking it down a little bit. See what that sounds like. I like to keep most of my levels flat. You'll see some of them that do have some of these stupid dots. I don't like to use the dots. So take them out if I'm not using it. Like here, let's take that out. Okay. So now let's get back onto our thing here. We had a high claps. This one sounds good now. So let's go to the next one. We're gonna put in this new Sozo. If I can find the fucker. Right there. dB. Most of the time it's around 65, 70.
The Marshall Presence Control is
Basically, we changed the mustard right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we were getting a dry tone. It was like a real anemic sound.